today's topic is total power radiated by the large dipole. Okay, so we have seen what are the difference exists in the far field region, that is E theta and H phi. Based on that, we have also found outward power flow from the antenna, that is P average. Here we have been found the power flow in the antenna source, that is from the antenna structure, how much power is been taken out for radiation, that is average power over a time period. Okay, so now what is the total power or what is the total radiated power been observed at the far distance point from this average power which has been coming out of the this antenna structure, that is large dipole. So out of that, how much is observed at far distant point at the observation point. Okay, so we'll go with the radiation power density first, and consequently we'll find out the power radiated. Okay, so the total power radiated by the antenna is obtained by integrating the average Poynting vector, right, over the spherical surface. So this radiation power density W, I'm just writing the line, the total power radiated by an antenna is obtained by integrating the Poynting vector over a spherical surface. Of any radius r. Okay, so what will be that? W, radiation power density, 0 to phi is equals to 0 to 2s pi, theta is equals to 0 to pi, P average r square sin theta d theta d phi. So we know the value of this P average, we have already derived this P average here. So we'll put the value and we'll try to find out this integration. So 0 to 2s pi, 0 to pi, half I naught dl sin theta by 4 pi r whole square, beta cube by omega epsilon r square sin theta d theta d phi. Okay, so now we need to look into the thing that this integration is no more as a function of r, as the total radiated power is independent of the radius, right? Because if we are having the antenna source at the middle of this sphere, so this radiation in every direction, this radiation in every direction. Okay, so let us take this radius r and it makes an angle theta. Okay, so this integration will not at all depends upon r, because the sphere we have chosen, it is having the similar kind of radiation in the surface of that sphere. The reason is that the integration or the integral is no more a function of r, as the total power is independent of the radius of the sphere chosen for integration. Okay, or you will also find that this r square will get cancelled. This r square, here r square and r square will get cancelled. So this cancellation gives us the hint that integration will no more remain a function of r, because it is having the total power, it is not depending upon the radius of the sphere, it becomes independent. Here r square is also get cancelled. So the reason is that the total power is independent of the radius of the sphere what we have chosen. So if at the far distant point, if at a far distant point we have chosen some radial vector having some distance, let us consider 100 kilometer, 200 kilometer on that. So whatever the direction it may be, this radius will be according to that radius on the sphere, the surface of that sphere, the power will remain same. Okay, so if we go with this concept, so we can find out this W as half I naught dl by 4 pi whole square beta cube by omega epsilon. This phi will become twice pi integration theta with respect to 0 to pi, it will become sine cube theta d theta. So we need to find out the integration of this. So I am just skipping that intermediate step. The final result is coming out as pi. You just do those intermediate steps. I naught square dl square 16 pi square beta cube by omega epsilon into 4 by 3. Now what is this beta? Beta is omega root over mu epsilon. So this beta cube by omega epsilon can be written as beta square into beta by omega epsilon. This beta square is writing as twice pi by lambda whole square, and another beta I just replace with omega root over mu epsilon by omega epsilon. So it is coming out as 4 pi square by lambda square into mu by epsilon. So for free space, this mu by epsilon it will be the intrinsic impedance of the free space, that is eta. For free space, beta cube by epsilon can be written as 4 pi square by lambda square into eta. Eta is the free space intrinsic impedance. Okay, so we can write down on this equation as W is equals to pi into I naught square dl square by 16 pi square 4 pi square, we are replacing this one like this, into 120 pi into 4 by 3. Okay, so this pi square will get cancelled, this 4 will get cancelled. Okay, so it can be written as 40 pi square I naught square dl by lambda whole square, which is the P radiated power. Okay, so we have taken the average P average and integrated over this total surface. We have taken this P average and integrated over the total surface, that will give us the total radiated power. So what is the conclusion we can draw here? First thing, this P radiate is proportional to the square of the dipole length, and it is normalized with respect to the wavelength, normalized with respect to this wavelength lambda. It is proportional to the square of dipole length and normalized with respect to the wavelength. It is inversely proportional to the wavelength. If we see this wavelength, so we can say inversely proportional to wavelength lambda, and if we replace this lambda with frequency, then it is directly proportional to the frequency and directly proportional to the frequency. So what we can found that this W is the radiated power only. So what is the thing we can found? That if the operating frequency is higher, radiated power will also higher. If the operating frequency is higher, because this lambda is C by F, so F will go into the numerator, so it is directly proportional to F. So we can say the radiated power will be more if the frequency increases or operating frequency is more. Okay, and the radiated power will also be increased with the antenna structure. It will also increase with respect to antenna structure, but it is get normalized with respect to lambda. It is get normalized with respect to lambda. So if you keep on increasing the length, the operating frequency also taken into consideration. Otherwise, this higher length will not at all be beneficial at the higher frequency operation. So we need to look into the normalized length dl by lambda as well. Okay, so whether this lambda is higher or not, based on that this dl will be selected. So for the high frequency, obviously lambda will be less, so this dl by lambda will give you some normalized value which will give us the maximum amount of power from that structure. So this is the radiated power. So if you think that our antenna is some kind of load which has been connected with our source, that antenna is a black box. Black box is connected to the source end. So what does it mean? From in that black box, this power is get dissipated. It is get radiated from the antenna, or we can as a whole we can say on that black box this power is get dissipated. So from this we can easily find out what is the load resistance which is acting as a antenna itself. So that resistance is known as radiation resistance. So let us check that one from this. So if this is the radiated power, so what we can think of, we are having some black box, we are having a black box, inside that we are having that dipole, we are having dipole. So from that some source is connected, it is a Hertz dipole, or equivalently we can say it is simply as a load which has been connected with the source. Some current is going inside to that. So if this resistance we can able to find out R rad, then we can say depending upon the power which is get radiated or the power how much it is dissipated, we can easily find out what is the radiation resistance been included. Okay, so this radiated power P rad, or it is equals to W, what we have written in our expression, that is 40 pi square I naught square dl by lambda whole square, which is equals to the power which is get dissipated in the load, that is half I square R, I naught square R rad. So by doing the comparison we can find out this R rad. So this R rad, it is coming out as 80 pi square dl by lambda whole square. So this is the expression of the radiation resistance for this Hertz dipole. This is the expression of the radiation resistance for this Hertz dipole. Okay. Next is directivity. What will be the directivity of this Hertz dipole? So once we are having this power radiant P average, we can take out the directivity. So what is the expression this D naught, that is D max? It is 4 pi U max by P rad. So we already been derived this P rad. We already have derived this P rad. This is the expression of this P rad, right? Or in the previous one also we can take. Now we need to find out this U max, that is radiation intensity we need to find out. So for that, what we need? We need the radiation power density. So what is that radiation power density? It is same as the P average. So what was that P average or W average, which is radiation power density? Radiation power density. Because for finding out this radiation intensity, what we need? R square W average. So this W average, which is same as power average, it is how we have been found? By taking the Poynting vector, H conjugate I naught dl sin theta by 4 pi r whole square beta cube by omega epsilon. So let us simplify this one. Half 4 pi square by lambda square into eta, this value, into I naught square dl square sin square theta by 16 pi square r square. So if we more simplify, this one will coming out as eta by 2 I naught square dl square sin square theta by 4 will get cancelled, 4 pi square, so it will be 4 r square lambda square. So what will be this radiation intensity? U, r square into W. So this r square will get cancelled, so it will be eta by 2 I naught square dl square sin square theta by 4 lambda square. What will be U max? Because we need this U max. So U max, this sin square theta will become simply 1. So it will be eta by 2 I naught square dl square by 4 lambda square. Now we need to go with this P rad. P rad we already been derived. That is, I am just rewriting that equation again. That integration value was 4 by 3. So I am just writing 4 pi by 3 first, then 4 pi square lambda square eta, then I naught square dl square by 16 pi square. So it is coming out as pi by 3 into eta I naught square dl square by lambda square. So this is our P rad. So what will be this D max? So this D naught or D max is 4 pi U max. U max is eta by 2 I naught square dl square by 4 lambda square by P rad. So this one will go into the numerator, 3 lambda square pi into eta I naught square dl square. So whole of these things will get cancelled. It will remain as 3 by 2. Okay. So this is the maximum directivity of that Hertz dipole. D naught or D max is equals to 1.5. That is the maximum directivity of that. So once we get the maximum directivity D naught, we can easily find out maximum effective aperture. What is that? AEN equals to lambda square by 4 pi into d naught. So it is coming out as 3 lambda square by 8 pi. It is the maximum effective aperture of that arch dipole. Now let us check what is the radiation pattern of this arch dipole. Radiation pattern. So radiation pattern means the wave which is get radiated from dipole. So the wave consists of wave. Whenever we are considering radiation means we are considering the far field region, right? So on the far field regions we know what are the different field components we have. We are having E theta and H phi. So what is that E theta? J I naught dl beta square sin theta minus j beta r e to the power j omega t by 4 pi omega epsilon r. It is E theta. Then H phi. H phi is j I naught dl sin theta beta e to the power j beta r e to the power j omega t by 4 pi r. So it is for the far field region, that is r greater than lambda by 6, far field region. So what is the common thing in that? You will find this E theta or H phi, it is varying with sin theta. It is varying as sin theta. We can take out all the other values, this I naught dl beta, all those things, it will have a specific value, but this sin theta will vary. It will depends upon the value of theta. It will depends upon the value of theta. So we can say this radiation pattern or these field components are the function of sin theta, right? Because this electromagnetic wave, that is a combination of electric field and magnetic field, it is having the function of sin theta. So we can say radiation pattern, if we are taking some function f which is the function of theta and phi both, it varies as sin theta. It varies as sin theta. So depending upon the theta we can have the radiation. Now if we consider this is the our coordinate system, so what we know, the theta varies from z axis. The theta varies from z axis. So if we go like this, it is a variation of theta. So along z axis theta is 0. On y axis the theta is 90 degree, right? Now if we look onto this function theta, so we can say if we are taking theta is equals to 0, that is along z axis, this function becomes minimum, that is 0. And if you take theta is equals to 90, this function gives us the maximum value of this electric field and magnetic field. So what does it mean? The maximum will occur along this y and minimum will occur along z. So if we go into the radiation pattern something like this, this is our x, it is our y, it is minus y, it is z, this is minus z. So what does it mean? We are having the maximum along y, either it is plus y or minus. So we can write like this, maximum here, and it will have minimum. Minimum means 0 along axis. So here in the center itself. So it will looks like this. An 8 shape, 8 like of shape. So this is for what value of phi? Because it varies with theta only. But what is the value of phi? Phi is whole phi, that is from 0 to twice pi. So if we consider on the y-axis, so what is the value of phi we have considered? Phi we have considered 90 degree. On the y-axis phi is 90 degree because it varies from x-axis. It varies from x-axis. So this is phi. Right. So we can say we will have so many like this 8 kind of slits for every value of phi. For each value of phi we can have this kind of 8 like of shapes or slits. So if you take so many slits for each value of phi, so what will be the shape you are going to observe? You are going to find out a sphere, but this top and bottom are inserted towards the center of the coordinate system. Or you can somewhat think like a orange. The orange is like what? It is a sphere, but on the top and bottom it is inserted towards the center of the sphere. So I am making a pattern for this. So this it is the 3D diagram. So if you take whole of this phi, at each of the value of phi we supposed to have a sphere, but this top is, so we have taken the dipole at the center. We have taken the dipole at the center. So if you do the cross section, look, this 8 shape will come out. This top and bottom is inserted at the center of the coordinate system. So if you do a cross section vertically, this is the shape. If you do the cross section horizontally, this is the shape. You are supposed to take out a circle. Okay. So if you take this kind of 8 like of shape at every value of phi, so you are supposed to have this kind of 3D shape. This is the radiation pattern. So this kind of radiation pattern is a pattern known as omnidirectional pattern. So what does it mean, omnidirectional? Omnidirectional means it has the directivity, or it is directive only in one direction, and it is non-directional in other direction. So if we consider this kind of shape, if we move along the azimuthal plane, that is if we vary the value of phi, so whether it is directive? No, because it is like a sphere. It is having the isotropic radiation pattern along the phi plane, because it is looks like a sphere. Now if we looks from the top, that is from the azimuthal plane, if we go with z equals to, that is theta is equals to 0, that is at this side, so it is, we can say it is directive, but it is not directive because the pattern is not out along the z axis. It is, otherwise it is going in. So this kind of shape is an example of omnidirectional pattern. So if we look into the isotropic pattern, so what does it mean? Isotropic means a sphere. It is having the equal amount of radiation in every direction, whatever the value of theta or phi you have been considering. But for this case, we are having the omnidirectional pattern. What does it mean? We are having the isotropic like shape for the azimuthal plane if we rotate phi. But if we come along the elevation plane with the variation of theta, it is not at all a sphere. Clear? Any doubt?
Sir.
Yes?
Sir, the loop on the axis, if we move left or right of the along x on the axis, then the size of the loops gets reduced.
I'm not getting you.
It's the 8 pattern.
8 pattern, yes.
Yes. Sir, this pattern is at x is equal to 0. It's on the yz plane.
It is at x equals to 0. Okay.
So on the yz plane, now if we move left or right on the yz plane.
YZ plane.
Yes, yz means along x-axis, which suppose that x is equal to 1.
No, you just think of something like that. For this case, whatever the slits I have drawn, it is for what value of phi? If I consider along the y, so it is for the phi is equals to 90 degree. So we are having the variation with respect to sine theta only. So what is the value of phi? Phi is whole phi, that is whole elevation, sorry, azimuthal plane 0 to 2 pi. So you need to consider 8 like of shape for every value of phi. Phi is equals to 0, phi is equals to 1, phi is equals to 2, phi is equals to 2.5, phi is equals to 3, 3.5, like this. So if you consider this slits for each value of phi, and you have been considering these slits are arranged like this. So if I consider along this xy plane or xz plane, so what will be like this? This will be somewhat like this. This will be, though it is quite tough, it will be like this. Understand?
I got it. It is going along the circumference.
Yes, yes, yes. It is along the sphere. Why? Because we are considering whole value of phi from 0 to 2 pi. So you need to consider for 3D pattern, you need to consider each value of phi. So if you consider each value of phi, so this kind of slits will come across the sphere. That's why this is the 3D surface. This is the 3D diagram. Clear? Yes, yes, yes. You have to take this 8 pattern for each value of phi. Then only you can able to construct this diagram. Clear? So this is the value for phi is equals to 0. What are the red line have been drawn? This is for phi is equals to 0. It is x is equals along the x axis. So if you take phi is equals to 1, some other slits will come. If you take phi is equals to 2, some other slits will come. Like this. If you take phi is equals to 90, some other slits will come. Like this, in this way. Clear?